I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and we're in round 5 of the 2026 Carcassonne Champions League, where 60 of the world's best players are competing over the course of 10 weeks for the ultimate prize in Carcassonne. Week 5 is the decisive week in the league stage, because we're soon to get rid of more than half the players in the field. We are in the battles for the playoff spot. The tournament situation is very complicated. I don't think we need to go too much into detail, except that we can say that those players with 4 wins and above have definitely secured their playoff spots. Regarding the players with 3 wins and 2 wins, pretty much everything is possible. Many things are possible. And we will be looking at 2 such players today. Yet again, the Korean expert with a screen name cherrypapa, who has been featured on this channel quite a lot, which I promise is actually a coincidence due to very convenient time zones in Korea, has been doing pretty well in their debut year of the tournament so far. So you can see they're now in 14th place with 12 players qualifying. But they have 1 game to spare, so if they win today, they could definitely qualify for the playoffs, especially if they win 2-0. So 2 victories in 4 matches, pretty well for themselves. So they lost against yours truly and Guillermo Neves, and they won against the Austrian and the Dutch players. You can see their history on the screen. And now they're about to face a Chinese master with the screen name 203 Club, who, whilst higher rated, is actually not doing so very well. They don't really have a lot of chances to qualify. I think if a true miracle happens, they could still do it, but the chances are almost non-existent. So basically what 203 Club is competing for, with only 1 victory in 4 matches so far, is just the overall standings in the tournament, which have some practical consequences for future years. So 203 Club has defeated Dremcad of Colombia, another master, Sergio Antolines, and things were looking well for them before they lost to Wahei of Japan, MTU of Poland, Bluesty of Croatia. So all 3 masters, actually. They also got a bit unlucky with the caliber of their opponents that they have to face with. And in about a minute, they're facing Korean cherrypapa. That's the only player who is an expert rather than a master. And we expect them to be the favorite. As you can see, their current rating is 713, 5,600 games of experience. So definitely they will be just better prepared. I'm going to even say that maybe they have a 70% chance to win, but the Korean is way better motivated to do this, to make a playoff appearance in their first year. That would certainly mean a lot to them. All right, that was a quick intro. We even have 1 minute left to chat a little bit. So from cherrypapa, I think the one weakness from them that I've seen is their time management. Overall, of course, very solid grasp of Carcassonne. I think very solid farming play, especially. If I were them and I were playing against a Chinese player, I would keep the position as simple as possible, because we know that Chinese players and most East Asian players in general kind of like to play more blocky stuff, more close stuff, mini battles. Something like a big field fight would definitely give a good chance for the Korean. But their time management is sometimes they rush a few moves, missing some opportunities, and I've seen them finish games with like 7 minutes still on their clock, or 8 minutes still on the clock even, or even something more than this. So probably they would need to work on that a little bit, and or simplify the position. This would be their strategy. For 203, I think playing their usual games would be the go-to. All right, so the game should have started 1 minute ago. Let's see what happens. Let's just keep refreshing the page. There can be some minor delays in board game arena, but we can see that both players are online, and this means that they have scheduled the tournament for 14:30 UTC. But typically those tournaments like don't start until 2 or 3 minutes after the scheduled time. It's just a technical quirk of board game arena. Nothing too much to be worried about. Oh, 8 turn-based games. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, all of them are Carcassonne, and half of them, for some reason, are with the Ukrainian player with a screen named Tanya Yu. A very active player is 203. Maybe after 3 minutes or so, we should start getting a little bit worried. Hi Craft Giraffe saying, time management is something I learned in chess, especially using enough of my time. Even with totally logical instant moves, it's always wise to double check in case you find a better move. This is certainly true for Carcassonne as well. Although time management is certainly double-edged. Like if I'm playing against somebody who uses a lot of their time, I will be inclined to play a little bit faster, but definitely not at the expense of the quality of my own moves. Yeah, it's tricky. Like, playing too fast is wrong. Playing too slow is wrong. But how do you find the Goldilocks zone? How do you find the porridge which is just the right temperature? The number of seconds spent on a move which are the most productive? Well, I was going to say we're going to find out in a couple of minutes. I'm having doubts about this. I think the worst that I've seen was like a 6-minute delay or a 5-minute delay or something like this. Actually, let me just check. Well, is there even a tournament? Because there should be one of these messages, right? Okay, let's have a look at the Korean. Maybe there was a different format that I had in mind. Well, there is this one, which is a bit interesting. Oh, I see. So then it seems to me that the Chinese players simply failed to register. So there's going to be some communication about this. They're going to probably set up some new tournaments. A little bit annoying in it. Alright, so we're going to be monitoring the situation with these two guys. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, you see there's another new tournament that they've set up, presumably for 5 minutes from now. Yeah, there we go. We have it. They've registered. 203 club is invited. And let me just check the starting time. It is in 5 minutes. Okay, so then to fill the time, this allows us to do some puzzles. I always like being efficient. Oh, look, the pretty tile, the underrated quadruple city. I always feel bad for things or people who nobody likes. And I feel bad for this tile because many Carcassonne players don't like this tile, not appreciating this full potential. Like the forced quadruple city play, for example, some wonderful blocking opportunities, or the recognition when you can build and complete a medium-sized city with it. Beautiful tile. Alright, so what do we have in this puzzle? In case if you're not familiar with this website, it is wonderful. You get a new puzzle every day for free. And then also you can Pay a membership for some extra perks. All right, so what do we have? Ooh, versatile 34. That's nice that somebody stole Crafty Raph's pun to name a problem. Or, you know, not stole, maybe came up with it independently. Okay, so we have 9 remaining tiles. We are ahead 5 points on the scoreboard. As yellow, we have an extra meeple. And we do have the versatile, the rose. It's truly one of the most diverse tiles in question that we can use. So you know what I'm going to do? Normally, to assess the position, you know, you would count the tiles and points and everything. I'm just going to look real roughly that there's a big ruin with yellow and red equal. Yellow's blocked here for 1 point. Red has a couple of features over here that give him some points. Red has a wonderful ruin over here for around 12. Yellow is ahead in the main field of the game with 2 meeples against 1. The field is worth 15 points for 5 completed cities. There is another red guy trying to penetrate, trying to equalize the field, and there's another yellow guy trying to go back. So how do we determine the optimal move? Honestly, I just want to look at the remaining tiles because we don't have time to calculate. So let's have a look at the remaining tiles. Normally, of course, in a game, you have to go through it. Oh, this is interesting. So lots and lots and lots of road tiles, which means, first of all, that whenever this red guy penetrates, the yellow guy is pretty much guaranteed to go over here and follow suit. What else are we having? We're also having a couple of city tiles, but not really all that many. What else we have in the position? We have an unclaimed 9-point field, which either of us can take. But what's the score right now? I'm pretty sure that we should be losing. Oh, no, we're winning. No. What's that about? We're winning. Okay, with 1 point. Yeah, because of this field. So how do we keep winning? This is actually quite tricky because if red, let's say, goes in this 9-point field, then I can certainly see a situation where red would be at +8 and we might not have enough. We might not have enough things that we can do with these 2 meeples that we have to outscore. Yeah, there's also the Dorito that goes over here, which is a 6-point swing, which I'm not thrilled about. And if we drop a 3rd farmer, it seems to be a bit extra at this stage. Oh, we could also invade the city. But then if we invade the city, our opponent has blocking sequences. But then, I mean, if we do invade the city, we have 2 tiles that fit there. This is actually quite wonderful. Yeah, that's very interesting. Very, very interesting. This city could not get completed, that's important, but however, well, it actually can technically, but it would need 3 very specific tiles. We're not going to have enough time to solve this properly. I'm just going to go with my intuition move. My intuition move is simply score a couple of points and wait. These couple of points could make a difference. Could make an absolute difference again. Simply because if we go away +3, and our opponent goes here and claims 6 points for the city, -3 is a difference which we can easily overcome with a spare meeple. So it's a scoring tile. Let's score. Let's wait for what our opponent does. Let's have a quick look at the other suggestions. There are only 2. Yeah, this is interesting. The farm invasion seems to be a little bit extra. Because, okay, we invade the farm. Our opponent just claims the 9-pointer. We have an equal number of meeples, and there's really not much that we can do. Yeah, this is also pretty good. This is also an option as well. But I really like to keep my meeples open. There's also an additional reason why I wanted to leave an empty city cap, because now currently there would be a flip for 4 points. in addition to a flip for 6 points. So I think our move is completely fine, but it's a very complicated position. Do let me know what you think in the chat, as we're gonna go right into the game in a second. Self-evident saying that this website seems not to accept problems for endgame. Well, that would be strange. I wonder why Koki would do that. Oh, thank you for pointing out that this here field is worth 6 points instead of 9, which only... Okay, it does slightly change the situation, actually. Yeah, the 5-point ring road is nice. Okay, high V here. Anyway, let's have a look at the game, because this is what we're truly here for. Started a couple minutes ago. As usual, it is a best of 3, and oh, several things happen. Yeah, it's quite a fast-paced game. So cherrypapa is playing red, 203 Club is playing green, already scored 4 points for completing this city, and a lot of meeples already have been placed. So first of all, this is a very interesting move by the Chinese player, adding a point to the Korean road, trying to block this here city. The Korean kind of now doubling down, trying to draw a Dorito tile, finish a 10-point city or even a 12-point city, and then continue the road. Then green is building up a 9-point city over here. Green also with a very early farmer, and now a blocking attempt against this road, and a great tile for cherrypapa. Finishing a long road and still having a solid chance of completing the city. So the Chinese blocking effort, this gambit, did not pay off, but this is exactly the kind of style that I was talking for. So like this point sacrifices, blocky stuff, like in the Western Hemisphere, people don't really do that sort of thing. Alrighty, this block is quite universal. There are only 2 tiles that left into the square, so the Korean is going to struggle to complete the city. Alright, so what is green gonna do? Green, of course, blocked over here, built up a couple of cities. The Korean is now currently 9 points ahead on the scoreboard, and now very natural move to go here, finish a city, drop a farmer, and all that good stuff. Probably quite wise to start fighting for this farm. It's gonna be quite big, but this is not... I can't. Why? It cannot possibly be a good move. Like, you can finish a city and start a new one. Like, why would you not do that? And I have an explanation for it. Maybe red is thinking that they do not want to drop another city cap in his opponent's field. They do not want to make the field bigger, but how is that a concern if you're going to tie the field anyway? So based on the way yellow's playing this, it seems to me that they're not going for the usual style, and the fact they are planning to complicate the position, which would be something quite surprising. And they mean to complicate the position by trying to go for fieldless wins. So you see they have a bit of an extra on the scoreboard, they have some points here, and they think that maybe they can try and outrun a farm of their opponent. And honestly, this might be the way to go, because now that this square has been permanently blocked, Shuri is not going to have enough meeples to fight for the farm anyway. So we might as well just try to mitigate the damage, keep the farm small as possible, and gain points elsewhere. But if we're going to do it, you don't do it like this. You don't do it like this. I mean, discarding a monastery in a situation like this is a crime. The standard move in this position is actually not obvious at all. It is not going for a 6-point monastery over here. It is in fact going for a 4-point monastery over here, simply controlling critical squares next to green's monastery, because now green is setting up a 5-pointer over here with 4 monasteries remaining, and this will matter a great deal for the winning chances, because if green can score a little bit and come closer on the scoreboard, then this extra farm, which will eventually grow, I mean, these squares will be filled, like these cities will become part of the farm, And then eventually green's farm will expand, red is not going to have the meeples to fight for it, and whatever green makes for cities and roads and stuff like this is just not going to be enough. Oh, sorry, whatever red makes for cities and roads is just not going to be enough. So this was not a tactical error, this was a huge strategic error. Like, you can't not place a meeple on the monastery. Whilst I was discussing all this, players have been making some natural moves. There's a counter field here for 9 points, potentially brewing. A curve could go here for red, going over here for a few points. But then green could finish a city with a city cap and drop a farmer of his own. This is the most likely outcome. Yeah, so the cities are in a lot of different places, which is good for the side with a long-term meeple minority, which, believe me, is red and it is not green. Especially after this, it's a very interesting move by red, kind of bizarre. Exposing the square like this, I was assuming that red would be more likely to go over here and not allow pressure against this square, but red figures that they're 10 points ahead on the scoreboard and they can just afford to have a couple of meeples blocked, which I think is a little bit too nonchalant of them. Again, the threat of the monasteries here is never going to go away. Like, these squares will be eventually filled, and green will turn on quite a powerful scoring machine unless Mr. Cherie does something about this. That's a good move, though, going for a farmer. Preemptive farmer, already 6 points. Going to be 9 points upon completion. And what did I tell you? What did I tell you? What did I tell you? You don't want to allow your opponent stacking monasteries like this. Imagine if a third one goes over here, then green solves all of his problems. Also note that red actually has not been in a hurry to connect over here. I mean, eventually, of course, this is what's going to happen. Oh, look at this. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? What did I tell you? More monasteries, more monasteries. I mean, eventually this connections here is going to be complete, but it's just important that red not forget that this connection simply exists. That's a nice move. Trying to start a new city, trying to block over here. Maybe I would prioritize going here first, because it's nice to threaten something once in a while. With this city, we do want to get to meeple back eventually. But then I guess we can also go here with Doritos, even though we do need Dorito for this square. Yeah, if I were red, I would actually build this city with city caps and use Doritos for something else like this, because then it creates an interesting feature to fight for. Like, either side could go over here and fight for this ruin, and the ruin would be the most valuable feature on the board with at least 12 points, if not more. This field somehow is still at 6. Green really needs to drop some tiles here and just try to get those extra points. Maybe green can go here actually now, which could be counterintuitive because it appears that it's blocking the square. But if we go here and then we just wait for a curve on which there are still 3 remaining, we can go here later on. And then with a 2-tile sequence, we add 2 more cities to our farm. This guy's going to score 12. Everybody who's rooting for China is happy. By the way, do let me know in the chat, who are you rooting for? I just want to see whether we have more Korea sympathizers or China lovers. Good time management, it seems to me, on the part of both opponents. They're neck and neck with 9 minutes for 20 tiles. There could be a complicated endgame for which you want to save 5 minutes perhaps. Straight line for 203. No idea how to deploy it. I can't think of anything better than this, although this is also an option. Just simply trying to create inconveniences for this meeple. This move is also quite lovely. It is a variant reducing move with the idea that we do not want to allow red to go here and start fighting for this ruin. At first it might seem that it's not a wise idea because green has more meeples than red, and so green is more likely to be able to go here and fight for it, but red is going to get meeples back from here and from here pretty soon, and red's going to have more meeples eventually. Green's meeples and the monasteries are going to take a while to retrieve. In the meantime, quick points are being scored for red, also eliminating the threat of a 3-pointer. And also, this was actually the only way how he could score quick points. No other place on the board to do anything similar. 203 with a difficult decision. And it's a fancy way to go about things. I actually quite like this. It looks like it restricts the square, but what it actually does, it sets up one of the 3 remaining vanilla city caps for an 8-point move. This move from red sets up this blocking attack over here, successfully defended. There's still one tile that fits into this square. Green will benefit from it. Oh, this is a lovely move from red. I did not see that idea at all. Red is going for the crawling technique, trying to get a couple more big tiles to get this meeple into the city. Now, it's not going to work because green can simply go over here, but at least it forces a sacrifice because green is not able to use this tile for scoring points. And this is already something. So this was a 1-point move, which actually turned out to be a 3-point move. I was just checking if this idea was still possible, and yes, there are a couple of Dorito tiles remaining, just enough to commit this sort of invasion. And look at red. Red now obtained a meeple from here and decided to start going for a field fight. 6 points for this red guy, 6 points still for this green guy. This farmer is still more valuable because of green squares, because of this potential over here. And 203 now has an excellent opportunity to score points with this tile. Now, the downside is that they cannot go here and they cannot go here. And this was the downside of this move, is that monastery stacking is not possible. And they just take 2 points, which surprises me a great deal. Going here for a 7-pointer seems to be a bit more natural, but maybe they just do not want to create a big field. They feel that their monasteries are still going to keep them nicely ahead. But all these 4-pointers from the Korean, they keep accumulating and accumulating and accumulating. And also a couple of vanilla city caps have been drawn, which is not great for the player with the green meeples, who is expecting vanilla city caps in this area. Still a couple more remaining. This move, again, seems a bit unnecessarily ambitious to me, because it does leave an empty city cap in the field, which is nice, but then the fields could unify anyway. Like, there's still a road monastery that goes into this square. Also, with this move, it's a nice block in this area. In fact, there's nothing that fit into the square at all. Not that recovering a meeple is important at all at this stage of the game, since both players have more than enough. 2 meeples with 8 tiles remaining is an army. But yeah, for example, red could have just gone here with a 3-point farmer, setting up a road monastery, just trying to gamble for a 50-50 with a big farm takeover. But it's still possible for either side to achieve. So what can 203 do? I mean, they can go here, start a new city, I guess, force their opponent into some blocking decisions. Or maybe they can go here, start a new city like this, and then threaten a city cap at the top, a city cap over here. Overall, red should be slightly ahead at this very moment, but green has setup opportunities. All right, so green is going for the highest scoring move, and this is not a great tile for red. Not in the slightest. because they just cannot do nothing about the threat of green completing their city and dropping a farmer. Still a few city caps remaining. Not only the vanillas, but 2 daggers. One of the daggers, of course, is needed here for green to get some extra points from this area and to claim a 5-point road. And another dagger can go here. So a natural move for red is to go... Yeah, sure, you could do that. I was going to go here, actually. But scoring 2 points also makes a lot of sense. Oh, this move is filthy. It scores points. It expands this farm to bring in this city into the farm, right? And it also blocks off the square. Now, cherrypapa cannot go over here and cannot connect this farmer. However, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Oh, did I just say that? I promise that was an accident. I promise that was an accident. And also, it's not 7, it's 8. There is still one more curve that fits into this square. So this farmer could connect to the main field. And then, if red is feeling crazy, red could actually do a Dr. Taihan, go over here and drop a farmer, and try to connect through this area and connect another farmer through this area as well. Red could also just score some points, which does not seem wise. I think the most natural move for red is to go here and try and prevent this guy from completing this city. And 203 is making this move way, way, way too fast. I don't think it's the best move. I think it was more important to finish this city instead of that city. Red going for a second farmer on the top for 6 points. 203 now finishing the city again. Gets to have his cake and eat it too. And finally, cherrypapa will get a few extra points from this area. There was also an idea of going over here, trying to set up something like this, but the wonderful curve, the wonder curve, has been drawn by 203. Going for a 9-point field. Not something that our Korean fans will be pleased with. But that said, the other tile, like this one over here, was also super, super useful for green, because green could have just gone here for 7 points. Yeah, honestly, what red could have done, red could have just gone here and tried to invade the main field like this. This would have worked. He would have equalized the 6-point field with a 12-point field of his opponent. This move also makes some sense. I mean, it's a 6-point move, 3 points for the road and 3 points for reducing the points that this farmer scores. But I think this is the main mistake of red. Like, you don't want to allow stuff like this from your opponent. It's just too many points. Instead of going for another farm, it was better to just go over here and spend a meeple, but not allow your opponent easy scoring. So let's see what the final result is. There is going to be quite a significant difference, even though it did not feel this way. But this is the power of those monasteries that accumulate. Oh, only 4 points. Only 4 points. Yeah, so I believe this was completely winnable for cherrypapa. It just like felt that towards the end, green scored so much with these city caps that green managed to come from behind. And also, I've been saying this for the entire game, that red has the current points advantage, but green has all these setups, and more importantly, these monasteries. You could say that green was lucky to draw the monasteries. No, not really. If you just wait long enough, with 4 monasteries in the game, like, eventually you're going to get one. And red absolutely had the chance of meepling a monastery here themselves and trying to prevent this cluster, and this strategic mistake unfortunately resulted in a loss for them. And it's an important loss. I mean, of course, cherrypapa can still win this match, But winning the match is not enough. They also need to win a good tiebreaker. Ideally for them, they want to win 2-0 instead of 2-1. But even if they win 2-1, they still have chances to qualify for the playoffs. All right, so now the Korean is a starting player. That is good for them. And 203 Club must have not noticed that the game has started because they've spent a minute without making a move. Sometimes in the tournament format it can happen. The Korean is going to take every little advantage they can get. So what can we do in the meantime? I'm just going to do some regular challenge promotion stuff. I mean, meeple the like button if you like anything about what's going on the screen. That's important. Subscribe for more competitive Carcassonne content like this. And if you're really enjoying this, consider becoming one of our members. Alrighty, so we're going to have some proper content, because this is just not a really good move. This response here from 203 Club. It seems to be a bit unnecessary variance, but just the most common response is to simply try and equalize this here city. But the idea behind this move is that you want to go for an early blocking opportunity, which looks appealing, except that it works in maybe like 10% of the cases, and I'm being generous. So as you can see, the Korean has scored 2 points, successfully equalized the 2 cities. A shielded tile, of course, is descending right over here with a second meeple for green. But it is not that menacing, because after some tiles are placed over here, there will be multiple chances for red to reinvade and equalize the city. Red finished a 6-pointer over here. Now took a 4-point monastery to control green's 4-point road. Green with a monastery of their own, but overall great position for red. Now, instructive moment, which of course red as an expert knows. They do not go use the splitter tile in one of those cities, because this is too lucrative for green. Instead, red goes to start a field in a completely different place. This is pretty good for green, because green's the one to claim this field and also to get this roll. But another split tile is amazing. A bit of an imprecision in my view. I would have orientated the tile a bit differently, and I've actually claimed this farm as a response. But this is a perfect legit move. Completely valid. Just trying to thwart the development of green city. Yeah, maybe it's even better than my suggestion, so it's definitely a way to play, right? So red is seeing that green does not have enough meeples, and then by creating the shared city, we're sort of delaying some meeple recovery chances for green. Yeah, I really like it. It also reduces the overall number of cities on this field, which currently belongs to green. Green, however, has another interesting project, this 2 monastery cluster. Ideal, of course, he wants a road monastery over here, a field monastery over here, and just build a little horizontal Vatican. A monastery corridor. Chooses not to wait for a monastery, but uses city cap, which is quite legit. This will be claimed by cherrypapa. Or no, actually, I don't think we bother. I think we go here and drop a farmer in the left. We make our monastery mildly vulnerable, but that's okay. Just don't forget to drop a farmer there. And there we go. So we're 22 against 9, 13 points advantage. Not the easiest position for the Korean and, for the Chinese player. And now let's see how well cherrypapa is familiar with some Eastern European tactics. Because this is a classic example to not do this. I mean, it's a good move. It's not a bad move at all. But of course, there was something far, far more powerful. He should have gone over here with a meeple for the Ukrainian technique. It would have really, really frozen those monasteries. This is interesting. It's just like nowhere near as powerful. The monastery is completed. Yes, this is quite nice. Slight imprecision actually for green to score 2 points over here. 2 points were better in this here area, and that is because this gives back a 3-point road to red, and if red claims that road, red will be creating a blocking platform against this square with tempo. You gotta look out for these little bits. Yeah, this monastery is nicely protected already, so at least this guy is gonna get recovered. Possibly this guy as well. I can already see 2 curves and a road Dorito going over here. So eventually this is going to become a road for 6 points extra. And again, green is doing just fine. Like, green is behind 18 points on the scoreboard, but green has some really good setups. So eventually, if done properly, this should yield an enormous number of points, and there is a way to even amplify this setup. How about we don't go for the 6-point road, but we go for a shorter road and a road monastery. This would be a chance to score 27 points, plus some extra with the curve once the curve comes down. The downside, of course, is that we're helping our opponents with a city a little bit too much, because sometimes Dorito, triple city, and red can run away with a 20-pointer here. That would surely lose green the game. And so green decides not to go for it, but they're forced to use the tile unproductively simply for lack of better options. Setting up some blocking opportunities over here. Red can deal with it quite easily by just going over here and connecting. Not the most poetic use of such a city tile, but it does the job. Alright. So one of the monasteries has been completed. Cherrypapa is going to score some quick points over here. Green is setting up some more nastiness. We're much closer to equality. And now green does something which I would not do. Like, this city, yeah, it's nice, but it can wait. It can wait. Like, it was so much better for green. It was so much better for green to just go over here and to meeple along 6-point road and to wait for a different tile later. I also need to point out the time management issues, because this move was made instantly, whereas it's clearly not the best move. With so many triple city tiles in the deck, you actually want to wait for a triple city tile over here, because it does not give back an attacking platform to cherrypapa, which now cherrypapa was claiming. So yeah, honestly, I feel like 203 is slipping up quite a lot in this one. And again, he can now go here and go for this road again, but this would not be a good move anymore, because this, at this point, would be helping red city too much. This was the best possible tile, the single best possible tile in the deck that green could have placed over here. It does not have a shield, it expands the city, making it harder to complete, and it covers up a 6-point road very nicely. There is just not going to be one more opportunity like this. And I believe that red is just better here. So these cities are equal, except for this extra point from the shield, which hardly is going to be of any consequence. Green is now finding a good move to pressure against this square a little bit. But then again, let's say if green does not complete this monastery, and if red does not complete the city, red is actually doing quite fine, because once a tile is placed over here, this city will be doing better than this monastery in this indirect mini battle. cherrypapa is just dropping city caps. 203 is now making the square a bit more vulnerable. Cherry with a monastery, which I think at this point is not going to be used in monastery. I think a very enticing use for this tile is going over here and claiming this farm, because you had to be dropping all these city caps for something, right? Eventually they can be claimed. The farm could be up to 12 points, reasonably up to 9. A road monastery could descend over here, making this red guy penetrate the main field. I don't really see any other opportunities. Now, the issue with that move, of course, is that we're going to go here, we're going to be playing with one meeple for the rest of the game. This is something I would not enjoy. So maybe we want to delay the farming options a little bit, but this is exactly what the Korean player does. Maybe just creating the farm for the future, and 203 just claims it. Decides that he's a little bit behind. He can just go for it and basically set up the road monastery for a potential win of the game. Not something to worry too hard, because there's a particular strategy that cherrypapa can use in this position. This is certainly part of that strategy. To start blocking the field, to start hoping that he's gonna draw the road monastery, and so this guy never gets into the main field. And even if green gets the monastery, then at least green will not be able to claim the monastery, because this will suddenly be blockable. And I said that there's not gonna be another chance, but green undeservedly actually gets themselves this tile, which so wonderfully belongs in this square. Green scores some extra points for the field, comes closer to equality on the scoreboard. Green eventually is going to get this tile very much undeservedly. So many chances for green to set up this earlier, but also possibly some blocking opportunities for red, which red underutilized. Yeah, lovely 6-point road, which, by the way, I told you like 30 tiles ago would happen. 2 monasteries for 8s, just amazing efficiency in this area. The Chinese master, oh, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Oh no, this is actually a good move. Never mind. This is a very good move. It's a blocking move. I first thought that this was red, and I thought that red blocked himself by accident, but no. It's the green player who's calculating fast and realizing that there are no more road Doritos, so there's nothing that fits into the square anymore. And before this move, it was actually possible to get a regular Dorito plus a horse plus a cow and complete the city that way. Now it's no longer a possibility. Red is down -14 with no compensation. There is still something that red can do. Red can finish the city. Red can draw the triple or quadruple city for the city expansion. Red can maybe draw the triple city and then reinvade over here, have the ruin for themselves. Red can also draw the road monastery and try to do something nasty with it. Maybe there's a way to attack this 9-point field. Green is claiming a 6-point field because why not? Red is playing this a bit nonchalantly, just building up over here. Whereas it was better to go here, I think. Just trying to build up this city. And then try to go here with a normal triple city tile and just set up a different attack. Because this move, it only adds 2 points. I don't think it's all that useful. Dropping city caps in green's field, there's still an opportunity to claim those caps. Also, both players have still a lot of time on the clock. I think there's still chances for red. I mean, red can definitely go here. Red will have quite a lot on these ruins, like around 12-ish, 14-ish, which is kind of the same as what this green guy has. And then let's say if red gets the road monastery, red's gonna go over here for 6 points. Yeah, that's pretty much should do it, actually. This will be complete equality. Green now equalizing this ruin, which potentially gives back an attacking platform against this square, which I'm not thrilled about. It can be used. There is still a starting tile in the deck. Well, not anymore. I mean, there's still a starting tile in the deck, but it just does not go here. Yeah, so this is quite wise to limit this attacking option. Everything here is shared, and cherrypapa now is going to claim the monastery. So we're now very close. The triple city would have been very useful over here. Now this guy is scoring just 7 points extra, so not quite enough. In fact, I can tell you exactly that cherrypapa is down 2 points and 2 points exactly. So this game is going to come down right to the wire because, well, in theory, 3 tiles could go over here. to fill this area. This would put red as +1. A lot is going to depend on who is going to draw the starting tile, and cherrypapa draws the starting tile, which means that this city cap can be now claimed safely. Or maybe not. Maybe he can just go here and try add himself a monastery point and set up some sort of regular city cap tile. cherrypapa is only now down -1. This is going to be so close. Okay, now the critical tile is the last cocktail sausage, I think. Because I can see 1 and I can see 2, and there's not a third one. Now, if red gets it, red's going to go over here and score 5, 4 for the city, 1 for the monastery. If green gets it, green's going to go here and score 7. This would, of course, give back a fields connection opportunity. This is really going to come down to the wire. 203 Club has 6 minutes to calculate 120 opportunities with 5 tiles unseen to him. A very difficult position to be in cognitively. But probably what he will do at least is just calculate the number of each of the types of tiles remaining, and maybe not so much the sequence in which these tiles could come out. Nicola is asking, what's the origin of the cocktail sausages? It's just an interaction in the chat I've had the other day, because like this city looks a bit like a sausage, and then it's like a split sausage, and a cocktail sausage is something which is just much shorter than a regular sausage. I mean, there's plenty of names. In Latvia, like very often the splitter is called a šķirteni, which is one Latvian word to mean a divorced couple, as opposed to this splitter, which is called lauleni, which means a married couple, because these splitters are closer together and these city caps are closer apart. Yeah, different communities really like to experiment in different ways, and I still have no idea what the Chinese players should do here. Just no idea at all. Because surely there should be a better way how to approach this than just simply wait for this here tile. One slightly crazy idea that I have would be to go here and to claim the city straight up. This does not seem great. This does not seem like it should work. But the problem that I see with all of that is that there's actually one of these guys still remaining, which still can go over here. So Cherie can do a lot of damage if they draw the right tiles. And I think there's no way to prevent this game from just coming down to whoever draws the last cocktail sausages. Hi, Nalaheim. 3.5 minutes, and I will refresh the page just in case, but I'm pretty sure that 203 is still thinking, yeah. All I can say that they're 1 point ahead. Yeah, this is a reasonable move, completely reasonable move. cherrypapa is now gonna go here probably, or maybe not. Ooh, this is interesting. Now, the ball is in the Korean court. Because again, from our perspective, from Red's perspective, there's still one of these tiles remaining, and it's game winning for us and it's game winning for our opponent. So no matter what we do, it's sort of a 50-50 chance. Yeah, okay, this is perfectly reasonable. This also is perfectly reasonable. This is the 5-point move. Red is currently 4 points ahead. Okay. Red can go here and be 5 points ahead, and it still does not change the fact that we're simply gunning for this tile. And I think that red is going to win. Yeah, this is a 3-point move. Red is going to get a 1-pointer over here. And red is going to win by 2 or 3. And from what I'm seeing, there wasn't really a good way to do anything else from either of the players, right? We just had to wait for this tile. This tile was drawn by red, and that's that. The winning little sausages. Hi, Tommaso. Let's see what the final score is, and 3 points it is for cherrypapa. A very interesting game indeed. Yeah, this 6-point monastery was absolutely crucial. Was also crucial to recognize that this needed to be meepled. The quick points were not enough, and then 8 points actually ended up to be the most valuable unshared feature on this board, with the top field scoring only 6 actually. A bit unfortunate for 203 to not draw any of the city caps that would fit into this square, but that is part of the game. Alrighty, China won, Korea won, the decider for all the marbles. cherrypapa is the starting player again, scoring 4 points. 203 starting a new city, and the road is not claimed by red. They want to take an approach from their neighbors and do more blocky stuff, and it backfires, as this was definitely a mistake. I mean, you have to pick up the road. You don't give a road end to your opponent. This is wonderful for green, picking up a point. Red, however, still ahead on the scoreboard. Very, very dangerous situation here. Red's probably going to go here and continue the block. Instead, red chooses to set up the invasion platform, which I can also understand. Alright, well, surely Cherie is now going to invade. This is a nice idea, to continue the road indirectly like this. Can't really see what much red can do. No, red chooses to go the blocking route, which is high variance, but in this situation could certainly work. They're two difficult to fill squares, and we can also now limit them to the same types of tiles if we go here, but picking up the points is just fine as well. 203 is going to pick up the points at the top, finally taking the lead on the scoreboard. Cherie continues the city, starts a new one, creates an opportunity to block this square, so green is going to have to defend. Very easy defense, actually. Yeah, leaving 3 tiles that would fit into this square. 3 starting tiles that also give here a little bit extra, and really nonchalant move from green, just taking for an extra point, just not giving 2 cents about this square. I mean, this city is more likely than not to be completed, because all 203 needs to do is just cover up here, and then they're good. Okay, well, finally we're going to go here, right? We're going to try and block or invade the city. But these monasteries are also dangerous. 2 already score a bunch of points, 14. A third one is eventually going to come down here. Ooh, so maybe with this tile, we could have actually gone here for the Ukrainian technique. But it's too late. It's too late for any of that, because this city was dangerous to begin with. Yeah, I think a bit too high variance of an approach for cherrypapa. I mean, I can understand them. They're playing a high-rated player. But the tiles they got were pretty decent. And also, maybe there was a way to avoid setting up these monasteries, because red's starting tiles were pretty good. Alright, so red's going to start a new road, now choosing the scoring approach. 203 has no good use for this tile, really. We could go here trying to block the square. Instead, we do this, sort of restricting it temporarily, and it still gives the chance to either side to go over here and to place a third meeple in this area. From Red's perspective, if we want to avoid that, then we go here, and then there would not be any city tile that fits there. But why do we want to avoid that? We have the more meeples. We just want to wait for a tile that goes here, and maybe try and set up one of the two remaining horses. It seems like something we're going to have to do, because the monasteries just score way, way, way too much. Ideally, as Red, we want to draw this tile as well to go over here and meeple a city for the Ukrainian technique. Green starts a new city of his own. This indirectly helps the road a little bit. Also, Cherie found a nice move, trying to build up the road, but also create an inconvenience over here. And now Red is going to probably unify the cities. This is the high scoring move. A 5-point move. This move also makes a lot of sense, but you claim, no. You always claim the 2 points over here. This is not urgent. This is not urgent. You can claim the points, and then with this tile you can meeple this. It just seems to be a little bit spewy, a little bit wasteful. Not sure why the Korean would do that. I mean, I can understand that, but like these 2-point sacrifices, they add up over the course of the game. Annoying move from Green, trying to lure this road into this square where it could be blocked. Maybe not something to be too worried about. And now cherrypapa again has an opportunity to go over here and meeple this city cap and go for a slightly inconvenient but still completely worthy Ukrainian technique, because you have to think that your opponent could draw a monastery here any moment, but it does not happen. Alright, so there's a monastery now. cherrypapa probably not gonna go over here and fill that square. I think instead we might go over here for 7 points and also creates a straight line opportunity to score some extra. I would certainly prefer not touching the square a bit too much. Eventually 203 can go here with another monastery, but this here idea sets up some blocking opportunities against the square. There are actually not that many straight line shaped tiles remaining. There are 2 straight lines proper. There's one of these guys. There are 2 starting tiles, so only 4. And Red chooses to just claim the road, which is also fine, because what this move does, it sets up an alternative 8-point spot, and we know that Green is going to go for the monastery here, whereas Red can now go for the monastery here instead. Green is trying to break Red's city. Red can just simply continue it, or Red can try and do something nasty here. For example, a very strong move that I can see is going here, perhaps? That actually could be quite fun. To set up a Dorito tile and also limit the square a little bit. Going here is also just fine. Again, the idea of going over here with a meeple is something that I still like quite a lot, but if Red did not see that before, Red is not going to see that now. Instead, Red chooses to score 3 points, which again surprised me, because Red could have done that like way, way earlier. Green chooses 4 points of his own, also creating some field opportunities at the top, and Cherie now needs to make an interesting decision. Option 1, we go at the top, we try to gun for a triple city, and we try to go for a 10-pointer. A bit dangerous with a couple of triple cities already used up, but certainly viable. Option 2, we go over here with a different orientation, and we anticipate the farm, because Green is going to get a curve and going to drop a farmer over here, and this could be quite lucrative for them. Option 3, we cover one of these 2 critical squares and try to build a city of our own. And option 4 was going completely bonkers here and invading the city, and option 1 was indeed the choice, simply trying to score a bit. The curve was drawn, the field was created, and look how lovely the Korean player has calculated the timing. 12 points for them, more than 20 on the scoreboard. Still, completely possible for 203 to win this with just 1 monastery. And also very interesting move, they're now doubling down on the field. They want to get a city cap here, and maybe do a Soku Shinbutsu at the top to have one farmer for 9 points, a different farmer for like 15 points, and make everything completely impenetrable. Okay, so the first 2 steps are complete, as Red is just busy building up their city on the left. There is the 15-point field at the top. Cherrypapa now gets the monastery here for 8 points. And the only thing that Green needs, probably for a victory in this game, is ideally one of the 2 remaining cow tiles. If we go over here, then this monastery will very nicely cover, this field meeple will very nicely box himself in. No good invasion squares against this here field with 5 completed cities. So 24 points with 2 meeples is peak efficiency, and just excellent spatial vision from Green. This move, however, is super important. Because it will keep the red guy ahead. 8 points here, plus a chance to finish the monastery. Still 3 curves available, and then we go here and we start a new road, and then there's a chance to score 4 more, maybe even with a farmer extra if we're close to the end of the game. A good tile for Cherrypapa, I was going to say, but they only have chances to score just like a couple points extra. I think the only reasonable move is just to go here. This is also fine. Yeah, they're creating this here opportunity, and look at this. And Green is doubling and tripling down. Whoa! On this city idea. Did you see? Oh, wait. So Green does not want to do that, right? Okay. That's fine. But then Red's going to go here, which I think Red should still do. And this guy is still going to have 12 points. And then this guy is going to have even more points. He's going to have 18. But now, there is this super important tile, which creates a chance for Red to go here and invade the field. And I think from Green's perspective, we have to do something about this. It might be weird, but I think the move that we have to play is like this, with the city cap pointing outwards. I know it's annoying to leave an empty city cap like this. Exactly. That's a very nice disciplined find from Green. Unfortunately, it's I was going to say he's going to give back some city opportunities, but of course, Red is interested in finishing his own city. Green finally gets a monastery, scores some extra, sets up another monastery over here. Curvy tile for Cherrypapa, probably going to finish a monastery, start a new road. Both players are just now scoring super efficiently, but still, the peak efficiency prize goes for Green for these fields. All right. So 9 more points on the scoreboard, but this is quite a close game, and that's interesting. So just quick points for the Chinese player who just chooses to do nothing about this here city, but the city can still be completed. I can think of at least one city cap which has not been drawn, which is the main vanilla. I can see 4 of those on the board. So the 5th is lurking somewhere. And now probably 203 needs to go here and break the city. Or maybe not. Maybe they're trying to be a bit more extreme. Maybe they want to just score 2 points and simply hope to draw all the remaining city caps. But they don't have to. They're ahead, right? Because this farm is 12 and this farm is 18. So it's like 30 points just here. Then there's 60 points just here. Like, Green is ahead big time. Green is also ahead in this here mini battle. So all Green needs to do is just break this city, do not allow this city to be completed. And also do not allow farming invasions, because this move is wonderful since it creates an opportunity to drop a farmer here and connect through the outside like this. And the Chinese player still has 10 minutes which they can use to think through this pre-end game. Now, I will be shocked if we see this tile placed anywhere other than this square, but I'm not sure as for the orientation of this tile. Just in case, I'm going to refresh the page again, but I'm more than convinced that they're genuinely thinking, and they choose to gamble, right? What did they do? Honestly, I'm a bit shocked. But there are city caps in the deck. Like, how are these 2 points important? Do we really believe that these 2 points are going to make a difference in the winning probability that we have? I don't think so. And also, I think that Chéri now should go over here and drop a farmer. An alternative is to go here and drop a farmer and try to connect through a monastery like this. But this move I like because it's not very easy to block, and even if your opponent draws a straight line or a curve or something, then they will not be able to block one of our cities. I'm just trying to figure out how many city caps there are, and I can think of at least 2. The one vanilla, and at the very least, the cocktail sausages. Because there are only 2 pairs here and here. If there is a third one, I just do not see it. And there might even be a dagger or something. Yeah, very, very interesting. Okay, so this is a nice protection move from red, making it harder to block this city. Yeah, and look at this. It actually totally works. Now, Chéri is gonna, yes, drop a farmer. This city is now blocked. And so is this, because the dagger is the wrong kind. This is not to say this wasn't a nice protection move, because it's created some problems. But Chéri now still has chances to score a little bit. Like, we go here. Yeah, we go on the farm, perhaps. Exactly. We try to get a city cap to score here a little bit. 203 probably needs to go over here, exactly, not to allow us to draw a road monastery, because a road monastery would result into this field connection. So green is still comfortably ahead. Red, just adding 1 point to his city without any extra thought to it. I'm not sure how much I like that. Because there was another opportunity. Maybe what green could have done, what red could have done. Red could have gone over here and created a farming threat. Right? This would have forced the play with the green meeple to place this curve over here to block the farming threat. And then this city cap would have been free for us to claim and score 7 points, which would be what we wanted. So red did not realize that there was this gambit opportunity where we just create a threat, divert our opponent's resources, and then we can just block here. Yeah, so red should be considerably behind. Is there a way to score a little bit more? Well, there is. We could perhaps drop a city cap. Actually, no, there isn't really all that much that we can do, because this is the last city cap of its kind. Well, there is a road monastery somewhere. But what good to us a road monastery is if we cannot use it for farming? If we were to get a curve at least, we would be able to go here and then try to set up a road monastery like this. but this is not what we got. And instead a 3-point move here for no reason. And we do get to Road Monastery, except that we just don't get to use it. Yeah, it was possible to go here for 1 point and then go with the Road Monastery for at least 5, only at least here for 6, right? So it seems like 4 points squandered here from the Korean, who isn't even in any charm trouble, like 2 minutes remaining here. So the Chinese player should be able to overcome the scoreboard difference. Hi, Nebuzaradan. Oh yes, the field scoring change happened, I think, in 2010. Can somebody correct me on this? But like very, very early. Maybe even before that, maybe even before 2010. And it did change the game quite a lot. In my view, it made the game more interesting because obviously there are now opportunities to score multiple times per one city. And then obviously your opponent can do things like these, which require a lot of spatial vision and can be quite beautiful. But yeah, it indeed has become a different game. And all modern competitive Carcassonne is really with these new rules. 8 points is the difference. So the final endgame imprecisions really didn't... Actually, I take that back. You know what? cherrypapa had absolutely the chance to win this game. Imagine this. This move. So we sacrifice 1 point. We go over here. Then our opponent does not block here because they're forced to block at the top. Then we get the tile that we got and we score 7. Right? And then we still have a meeple to score 6 for the Road Monastery over here. So with these 3 final tiles, red scored what? 1 plus 3, so 4 points only. But then by scoring 0 plus 7 plus 6, we could have scored 13 points, which would have resulted in a 1-point win for us. Because so red scored 4. With the optimal play, red could have scored 14. 14 is 9 greater than 4. We lost by 8. We would have had 9 points extra. We would have won by 1 point. It's a very difficult concept, though. The concept of creating the threat just to divert attention. This is also quite a natural move, I guess, because we're, trying something. And I think the reason why the red player didn't go for it is because it was easily blockable. But having it easily blockable, that was kind of the entire point, because we need just one move to be able to withstand any blocking pressure in this area and get the 7 points. Yeah, quite an interesting endgame. The Chinese master, I think, deserved it very well, built up a monastery cluster, then found out this wonderful resource to come back. I mean, scoring 30 points with just 2 meeples is really admirable efficiency. They're going to improve their tournament standings. cherrypapa now probably not going to qualify to the playoffs. We're going to have a look at how they're doing. And honestly, it is great news for me because look at, I'm here nervous in 11th place. So the fewer players get to 3 wins, the better for me. I really want to qualify for the playoffs, and all I can do is wait. All right, so cherrypapa is going to have a 7-7 tiebreaker, which is honestly not bad. 2 wins in 3 losses. For 203, it's a worse tiebreaker, 6-8, so they're still behind cherrypapa. Actually, now that I think about this, I think the Korean can still qualify if MTU loses, I guess. But no, I mean, some of these guys, some of these guys have to get to 3 wins, yeah. So probably it's going to be 3 wins, and even 3 wins are not going to be enough. Well, that was interesting. Let me just check the chat. Yeah, some comments on the rules.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Napalm always very good with the facts. That 2007 was the change. Oh, wait, what? 2002? Really, this early? I thought it was a bit later than this. Oh, Nalaham is saying a different idea, that we could have also just protected the city cap on the small field by placing the cow 2 tiles above it. Yeah, this is even better than what I suggested, because actually I think it's... Well, it's the same for the winning probability, really. So with this here cow tile... Actually, no. I think my move was still winning more often, because let's say this tile, if we go over here, now opponents cannot block anymore, right? So that was the point, that by placing the cow tile over here, that our opponent cannot place a curve. But if we go here and our opponent takes this here tile, which they did eventually, then they can simply go over here and claim the city cap for themselves, in which case there's no way for us to score big time twice, because we need 7 points through here and 6 points from the monastery. And our opponent claiming the city cap is also a bit of a danger. So then by going over here, we do need to divert attention, leaving us one chance to draw this here cap immediately. I guess you could say this, that if we go here and our opponent gets this here tile, that they're not going to bother block here, because they know that there's no tile with which we can drop a farmer and still connect, right? Because let's say the cocktail sausage tile goes in this area, but with a farmer, this city is a boundary, so it prevents us from getting into the field. But this is a far more difficult calculation. So this move has the same objective win probability, but it also makes it harder for our opponent to find the best move. And also, like, when you create a city connection threat, a field connection threat, it's just more natural to block that threat, as it is more general in pretty much any board games that involve spatial vision, such as chess. You know, you see a threat and then you respond to it immediately, and then taking the extra time and seeing that the threat only works with a specific combination of tiles is a little bit harder. It's a calculation that the Chinese master is certainly capable of, but then they would still need to perform that calculation. I hope that was somewhat clear. Vihei is saying, Cherie could prevent the 2 fields with the monastery earlier. To be honest, I have no idea how. Oh, the 2 fields. Oh, you mean here? Cherie could have gone here, I guess, at some point. Yeah, but you know what? This is hard. This is hard. Like, if you see the monastery, you see this hole, you want to go for scoring. I do not think this was a bad idea at all. Yeah, also with these points, like, it wasn't a bad idea at all. And we still got some extra value, right, from our opponent being forced to use good tile to defend the field. We still got ourselves a chance to invade, so I think overall, actually, the Korean expert played this one quite well. Just got, of course, completely 203 clubbed in the spatial vision department. Anyway, I'm going to try and memorize this game for some hypothetical video that I might make about field board vision for this channel after the league. But for now, it should be enough for today. Just a few more things before we wrap up. Let's just have a look at the tournament table a little bit, because now it should be a bit updated. Yeah, so cherrypapa now on 14th and probably going to fall just short of the qualification. Then I'm here, and I'm hoping that some of these guys lose. Then I will feel much better. But we're going to see what comes out of this. 203 club in 19th, and probably going to slip a little bit lower than that, perhaps. Or maybe a little bit higher, who knows. Then too many complications to go elsewhere in this table. The only thing to note is that the reigning world champion, Xiang Yuqin, with a screen name QAZ, is proving his worth by being the only player in the tournaments hitherto undefeated. Only these three guys in the other subgroup can try and repeat this achievement later this week. So this one thing, okay, tournament table, done. Next thing, streaming plans. There are a lot of matches going on. Today you can watch other channels if you want to see anything from here. But tomorrow I will be covering Wahei against Glovier, Japan against Portugal, also a battle for a playoff spot, where I will have particular sympathies as well due to my own tournament situation. And then one match on Friday, one match on Saturday that we're going to cover. So if you want to not miss that, make sure to subscribe for more competitive Carcassonne content like this and click the bell notification icon, since these matches are very often stream at a short notice. Let me look at the chat a little bit. Invasion with the Road Monastery. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. What else? Oh yeah, and of course, meeple the like button for the algorithm. It's more important than you think it is. And in case you're enjoying these a lot, then consider becoming a channel supporter by joining, getting the channel membership, and getting a few meeple emojis as a thank you. That would also be much appreciated. Then that's it for today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.